Recently, a brief moment between French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte Macron, captured the world's attention. Upon disembarking from a plane in Vietnam, a quick gesture from Brigitte towards Emmanuel's face went viral, sparking speculation and headlines. Macron's team quickly downplayed the incident, calling it a harmless joke and a moment of relaxation. But what really happened? And why did such a small gesture generate so much discussion? Today, this video goes beyond the surface to explore the possible reasons behind this incident, using the lenses of great thinkers in psychology and philosophy. We will delve into the theories of Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, Jean-Paul Sartre, and Michel Foucault to understand the complex dynamics that might be at play, not just in that moment, but in any relationship, especially under the spotlight. Incident occurred on May 25, 2025, as the Macron couple arrived in Vietnam. Images show Brigitte with both hands on Emmanuel's face, who appeared momentarily surprised but quickly regained his composure. Reports indicate there were discussions, or minor squabbles, before disembarking. Furthermore, as they descended, the plane's stairs, Brigitte chose to hold the handrail instead of taking Emmanuel's arm. The Macrons' relationship is, in itself, remarkable. He was only 15 years old when he began a relationship with his future wife, who was his French literature teacher and a mother of 3 children more than 30 years ago. Their significant age difference, he at 47, she at 72, has always been a point of public interest. As high-profile public figures, their every gesture is widely analyzed. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, taught us that much of what we do is driven by our unconscious mind, a part of the mind we don't directly access. Unresolved conflicts or hidden feelings can surface in unexpected ways. Freud also identified defense mechanisms, which are unconscious tricks our mind uses to protect us from difficult emotions by distorting reality. Displacement. A common mechanism is displacement. This happens when anger or frustration from one source, like work stress or public life, is directed towards a safer target, such as a partner. The slap could be a displacement of accumulated tensions from the presidential agenda or from prior minor squabbles. Ambivalence in love. Freud believed that all intimate relationships contain a mix of love and unconscious negative feelings, like anger or even hate. This ambivalence is natural, but it can manifest in moments of tension. The minor squabbles, reported before the incident, might be a sign of this ambivalence in action. Rationalization and humor. The official explanation that it was a joke or moment of relaxation can be seen as rationalization. It's a way to logically justify an action that might otherwise be seen as inappropriate, especially for public figures. Freud also viewed humor as a defense mechanism to cope with negative emotions. Saying it was a joke could be a way to relieve tension and control the public narrative. Carl Jung, another giant of psychology, introduced the concept of the shadow, the part of us that holds all the traits, desires, and emotions we've repressed or don't want to acknowledge. When the shadow is unacknowledged, it can manifest in unexpected ways, often through projection, where we unconsciously attribute our own undesirable aspects to others. A sudden gesture like the slap could be a manifestation of the shadow, an impulse that breaks through the surface of consciousness. The joke explanation might be an attempt to keep the shadow hidden, avoiding confrontation with the truth behind the impulse. Jung also discussed the Anima, the unconscious feminine side in men, and Animus, the unconscious masculine side in women. Imbalances in these inner energies can lead to unrealistic expectations and power struggles in relationships. The incident might be a momentary expression of a power dynamic or frustration with unmet expectations stemming from an internal imbalance. Existentialist philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir emphasized radical freedom and authenticity. For Sartre, living in bad faith means denying one's own freedom, acting according to social roles or external expectations, instead of being true to one's genuine self. As public figures, the Macrons are constantly performing their roles. The incident could be seen as a moment when the authentic self, perhaps frustrated or spontaneous, broke through the public persona. The joke explanation might be an act of bad faith, a way to deny the true nature of the gesture, whether it was frustration, an impulse, or a power dynamic, to maintain the public image of a harmonious presidential couple. It's a choice to conform to societal expectation rather than dealing with the complexity of the moment. Simone de Beauvoir, Sartre's partner, argued that healthy relationships should augment freedom, not diminish it, based on respect and reciprocity. The dynamic of a relationship under intense public scrutiny, with such a unique history, can create tensions around freedom and authenticity. The slap might have been a momentary expression of this tension. Michel Foucault taught us that power is not just something that comes from above, but a pervasive force that shapes what we consider normal in terms of sexuality and relationships. Society creates discourses, ways of talking and thinking, that categorize and control behavior. As state figures, the Macrons are constantly subject to biopower, the way the state and society regulate people's lives, including their relationships and sexuality, to maintain order. The incident, and how it was quickly explained away by Macron's team, can be seen as an attempt to manage the discourse and maintain the expected public image. The slap was a moment when the reality of the relationship, perhaps more complex than the public image, manifested. The joke explanation is the attempt to reframe the event within the acceptable discourse. From a Foucauldian perspective, even a small act that deviates from the norm can be seen as a subtle resistance against social control. The incident between Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron, which at first seemed like a simple slap or joke, reveals itself to be a fascinating case study when analyzed through the lenses of psychology and philosophy. There isn't a single answer to the why. Freud reminds us of the unconscious forces and defense mechanisms that shape our interactions. Jung shows us how our hidden parts and internal imbalances can be projected onto others. Sartre invites us to reflect on authenticity versus bad faith in our social roles. And Foucault alerts us to the invisible webs of power that shape our relationships and how we present them to the world. This event reminds us that human relationships are incredibly complex, full of conscious and unconscious layers, especially when lived under intense public scrutiny. What we see on the surface is just a small part of the story. If this deep dive into relationship dynamics and the theories of great thinkers expanded your understanding, please hit the like button. It helps the channel continue exploring these complex topics. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next videos on psychology, philosophy, and the fascinating nuances of human behavior. And we'd love to hear your perspective. Leave a comment below. Which theory did you find most relevant to understanding the Macron incident, or which insight surprised you the most? Share your thoughts and join the discussion. See you next time.